I'm Paul Wilkinson and we're filming from my home in Kathmandu. Today I wanted to show you a little bit about the difference between modern bowls and the older bowls, antique bowls, and I also wanted to show you a little bit of detail about the etching and about the etching process. So later I'll come in with some extra bowls and other videos, but these are the only modern bowls that I have here at the moment. So if you, I'll just play the, so you can see they're quite nicely made. They're handmade and hand hammered, probably made in Patan, I would guess, which is a city to the edge of Kathmandu, and also made of a bronze alloy, but without the silver and gold in the mix. So this is probably a bronze or a bell metal, so 2 or 3 metals. I'll play the other one and then I'll show you a little bit with the old bowls. Because it's a thin bowl, the quality of the sound and the vibration is also a bit sort of more vibrato, but still very nicely made, and you can see these have been acid etched. So just by comparison, this is an antique bowl of a similar sort of size and similar thickness. So you can see the hammer marks, the patina and the colouring from the. So these have been acid and chemical treated to look similar, to look old, even though they're not old. Whereas this is the way the colour goes, the way the bronze goes when it's naturally old. And then again. So the modern bowls have a slightly more tinny type of a feel about it. This one's a much higher quality. This is hundreds of years old, and you can see the decoration with the magic eye and these decoration on the top. This little groove on the top ridge and lines here as well. So it's got quite a lot of copper in the mix, more than normal, so you can see the sheen of the red from the copper, but sort of similar shape, but for me 100 times better quality. And you can see the trace here of where when they've quenched it after it's been in the forge, so they're heating it in the fire, hammering it, heating it, hammering it, filing it down, putting on like a water wheel lathe sometimes to cut the centre smooth. So those circular lines, people sometimes think are evidence of it being new, but it's not. This is hundreds of years old. So they've just turned that on a water wheel lathe gradually to smooth it out, and you see all these beautiful hammer marks. So that's where they've then wrapped it up in a fabric, probably something coarse like jute, and the fabric's burnt away, and the chemicals from the fabric have actually marked the metal permanently. So that's quite interesting, and it's not something you see on modern bowls. So just demonstrate a little bit again about the quality of the sound is different. So another way to test it is when you rub your hand over the outside. On the modern bowls have a different metal mix, and they sort of slightly sticky to the touch, and they're colder. With the old bowls, you've got some silver and gold in, and also the quality of having been handled makes it smoother and creamier to the touch. So I can tell antique bowls from modern bowls with my eyes shut in the dark, and you just need to touch it, and also with the changes in colour. So sometimes you have some extremely good modern bowls nowadays, and they do get aged, so they look antique. because there's a marked difference in price as well. So a lot of the very large bowls that you find are actually modern, but the old ones are worth 3 or 4 times as much as the modern ones. So I'll show you about the acid etching. So these ones are very nicely etched, is why I bought them, and the raised marking is where they hand painted it with these are mantra, so Om Mani Padme Hum, and then repeated again and again with a sort of Tibetan flame, the never-ending knot, which is a Tibetan symbol of good fortune, and inside also the Om Mani Padme Hum going round. And on this one, Om Mani Padme Hum again, slightly less well written. The Buddha eyes, which is like peace eyes here on the bottom, and a big Om on the inside. So the way they do this is they'll paint with a sort of masking fluid, and then they dip the thing in acid, they dip the bowl in acid. The same as etching. So if you're doing printmaking and etching, you'll have a masking fluid. And there's also another more modern way to do this, where you can print something on a type of acetate, which where the printed ink acts as the masking fluid, and then you put it on. You stick the picture onto the bowl, and then where the ink isn't, the acid eats into the paper, and then eats into the metal, and then you get this raised. So I don't know how much you can see, but it's slightly raised, but very, very nicely done. Actually, a lot finer quality than you normally see. Sometimes they're quite sort of sloppy writing. So quite time consuming, and also a really nice thing to have the mantra. Sometimes sound therapists think of they call it uploading and downloading the quality of an area or of a space. So they'll go to somewhere like Stonehenge and they'll play the bowls, and they say they're downloading the energy of the place into the sound, into the bowl, and then, or into the water if they're placing water there, and then when they get home they upload it again. I don't really know about that. I mean, obviously on an internal level you're absorbing the quality, and there's some links to things like pilgrimage traditions and shamanic traditions of building up the experiences of going to sacred sites, but they think of it as the quality of the vibration going from the writing out into the world. So if you believe like that, in a way the mental models for things have an effect on the way that we're on the way we experience the world. So our internal dialogue affects that. So in this case you would be playing the bowl and the Om Mani Padme Hum going out into the world. A little bit like with the prayer flags, where the wind is blowing through the prayer flags and taking the prayers into the atmosphere and spreading that goodwill to everyone. Or with the prayer wheels, where you're turning the wheel and your energy and your concentration is sending the prayers out into the world. So hope that's useful and interesting. I'll make another video about some of the other styles of modern bowls, and then comparing them with the old bowls when I've got some more. So thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed that, and do subscribe. Let me know any other stuff that you'd be interested in, and I'll see you at the next one.